Okay, let's get on with this thing. Let's trim that away. I love these plastic bags they give you in model kits because they make brilliant temporary palettes, especially for oil paints. Just make sure you remember where you've put it. Squishy. Like that. I love this stuff. A little bit really does go a long way. It's ridiculous. And this, I'll use this brush. Just a tiny little. It was a flathead, believe it or not. That was a chisel edge. It's been used that much in various different things. It's become a little bit raggedy. I like raggedy, but it's still soft. It's lovely. Right then, be brave. Let's get straight in. I'll smack you in the head a couple of times like that. There we go. Chicken mush done. And for the rest of the bits. I'm having camera trouble again. It's not recording when I want it to. But what I was trying to tell you a minute ago before I realised I wasn't filming is that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. I'm working through that one at the moment. Still from the same blodge of paint that I used right at the start, and it's been what, 20 minutes now? And then some. I love this stuff. I really, really do, and I really can't thank Mike enough for pointing this one out to me. Now then, for the life of me, sorry lad, I can't remember your moniker right now. Not that moniker. Moniker as in name. Ugh. I hate how my imagination works. I'll pop your name on the screen right now. We had a chat earlier via the YouTube's commentary type thing. About Starship Filth and how it's great and stuff like that. As I was saying to you, this stuff is for acrylics only, so if you try using that with this, it just won't work at all. And that's the bottle of stuff that I normally use. It is quite expensive. It's, I think it's £7.5, something like that. You can get something very, very similar from a good craft shop, but it's that part that you need, odourless, and it is a turpentine type thing. It does say on there for enamels, but it does work equally well with oils. But go for the odourless stuff, trust me on this one, otherwise everybody in the house will hate you if you just use that normally. Use the normal stuff. The words are hard. I need more coffee, I think. Yeah, so don't use the decorating stuff that stinks everywhere out when you're drying your gloss brushes or anything. No, you know what I mean, do you? Words are difficult. So, yep. As you can see from the state of the bottle, I am very, very clumsy. That was a full bottle, and I managed to go boop with the top off, and it went everywhere on my old table, which is why I've ended up getting the new table, because it went straight through the laminate on the top. It's one of those cheap and nasty MDF things, my last one, that pretends it's real wood and it's not. It went straight through, you know, this laminate coating and stuff that they have, the melamine, whatever it's called. It went straight through that into the MDF. Table fell apart. It was great. Gunk washed, finished, or something along those lines. So we'll bob all that off to one side now to dry for the best part of 5 days, something along those lines. And we'll come back and rebuild the head and then see what else we can do weathering wise. I might show you some chipping as well. I'm not too sure about that yet. We'll see how things look. In the meantime, I shall attempt to help you with the mysteries of figure painting. Right then, I've got sweaty hands, so I just need to dry them off a little bit and get another glove on. So I'll transfer in sweaty hands to plastic and then paint won't work. So we'll just concentrate on one figure for now, so that we're not overcomplicating things. Right then, I think I'm ready. solid blue tack. That's probably too much. And you've got these nice little gappy things in the back where the seats and so forth attached to him. So we can use that with the cock and tail stick. Smush it. Oh, show the people. Cock and tail stick. Smush it all in. And then hopefully we've got something we can work with. Now then, the mysteries of figure painting. There are guys out there, you know who you are, they will build the most impressive model. They will turn out finishes along these lines and better, and they look absolutely stunning and realistic and stuff like that, and then you put one of these things in front of them and they fall over straight away and they panic and they run for the hills and they hide behind the duvet. The most basic paint job in the world, for me personally, oh hello, you can go there, is based on the anime principle of a mid-tone, a shadow and a highlight. Now personally I don't believe in white or black. Nothing in nature is a natural white or a natural black. It's only shades of grey. Make your own jokes. So XF85 is actually a really dark grey. Flesh, for some strange reason, is better than white for mixing with a neutral colour. For some strange reason white turns everything chalky, which isn't very good. So grab the palette, give that a bit of a clean because there's a bit too much goo on there. This is the best thing about acrylics. Once it's dried, you can literally scratch it off. Now this palette came as part of a paint set when I was a kid. You pick them up for like a £5 in the bookstores. They give you like really tiny tubes of acrylic to play with. They'll literally dry out the minute you open them. It's great. So, I'm not going to prime him. I'm just going to go straight in with, show the people, straight in with a base coat of this stuff, which is Dark Sea Grey XF54. I've just realised I'm not wearing my glasses, no wonder I can't see anything. So we'll give it a shake. Oh my word. That's not too bad, because I did use it quite recently. Right then. Straight in with the brush. Work your brush to a fine point. And then, don't panic. Wallop it in. And normally I don't use Tamiya paints for brush paints, and I tend to want to use this for airbrushes. But I do know some guys out there use the Tamiya paints for brushing with, and that's why I'm doing this. And this is just a quick and nasty guide. This isn't a full-on professional how-to. This is literally how to make the best of a bad job if you don't like figure painting. Just get in there, get it on. Probably take a couple of coats. Don't worry too much. As always with these things, a couple of light coats is better than one really heavy coat. And the thing is with this scale, in 48 scale, most of the time if you're using an aircraft, the bulk of the body will be covered by the cockpit and the instrument panels and so on. With this particular model, you've got the most tiny, ridiculous little windows to look through. Maybe the hatch. So we don't have to go overboard with detail. We just want to give the illusion that it's there. So we'll leave that for about 10 minutes just to cure off, and then we'll go over with a second coat just to get rid of all these nasty little lumps and bumps and stuff like that. So whilst these drying, I'll give a quick talk through the paints. So we've got the base coat, which we're actually going to be using for the uniform itself, even though the uniform's actually a lighter grey. We're going to stick with this one for the time being, simply because it's there. And we're going to use, shine a light, this one for the harness and the helmet, and this one as a wash, just to go over everything after a seal coat of varnish. Just bring out a little bit of detail in the face more than anything. We'll be using that one for the face, even though there's a tiny ridiculous amount of face actually showing. And then I'll show you a trick, mixing these two for a highlight and these two for a shadow. So where's the other figure gone? There he is. Now if we look at this figure straight away, when my white balance sorts itself out, we've got the neutral tone just there. I'm just got a better pointy stick than that. Where's my coffee my tail sticks? Oops, don't know what that was. Never mind, I'll find it. So straight away, we've got a very visible highlight there, and a shadow there, and then you've got the normal coat in the middle. So we're actually going to trick the eye into thinking the shadows and highlights there when it's possibly not, but as you can see, it's actually there. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it's a good trick as demonstrated here with this figure. Now up close, you can see a very definite line where I've painted the highlight and where I painted the shadow. Where else is there? Just there on the sleeve as well. Real definite highlight and then real obvious shadow. But as you move away, if my camera will stay in focus with it, all of a sudden it merges into one, so it actually looks like a natural paint job. That's the whole idea with this technique, just to give the illusion that there's something there when it's not. So again, you can see there's definite brush strokes. As you move away, okay, so I've got a large brush. I like these Citadel brushes because they're actually designed for painting with in small scale, and they've got really soft bristles as well. I love these things. What's that one? That's a standard. And then we've got a fine detail. It's still the same thing. It's Games Workshop Citadel. That's the old version of it. That's the ones I grew up with as a kid. These are the new versions. And you do pay a little bit more for these brushes, but it's definitely worth it. So you can see you go from really big to not as big to really thin. That's basically all you'll need. It's worth paying a few pennies extra just for that extra bit of quality. So he's had, to be honest, overnight to dry. When I base coated him, real life got in the way and I had to go away and do real life stuff again. So he's had overnight. It's roughly 24 hours later. So I'm going to give my paint another zhuzhing just to wake it all up. And then I'm going to go straight into the lid again. Get some on the palette. And it's literally the same thing. whack it all over. See if we can even him out, and see if helps if you use the square end rather than the pointy end, because the pointy end tends to get loose. I don't know if you can see there now in the chest where I've just done that second coat. It's a lot better coverage, use your words Tony, better coverage than on his legs. And because I've been talking, that paint's air dried already. That's the only downside to Tamiya paints. You've really got to crack on with them because they do air dry very, very quickly. So not too bothered about the boots because they'll be going in the darker grey, the tire rubber black thing. Talking is really difficult for me at the moment, especially when I'm filming, because I'm multitasking and doing two things at once. I'm a typical bloke. That's why I keep going quiet when I'm doing this kind of thing, so I can concentrate on what I'm doing. So that's okay as that is now. Let's come in a bit. And again, if you can see there, whilst that paint's still wet, you've got a really visible highlight line on the folds of the tunic. I'm going to try and do this without painting him again. So you've got really good highlight line there and a really good shadow line directly underneath. And that's roughly what we're going to be working with the highlight and shadow coats. So I'm just going to put him to one side for a second whilst I clean the brush. I have already shown this in another earlier video. It's really gunky X20A. And it's literally go in, give it a zhuzh. And for the life of me I have no idea what zhuzh means. But if you see there, the brush is already clean. Now that pot is about 4 years old and it's still as good as the day I bought it. There's my towel, there's my towel. Just pull out a little bit. So again, don't grab and twist, because that's the best way of pulling the hairs out of the brush. Just very lightly go over. And the best test of all, you can already see there's no paint coming off that brush at all. If you run over the back of your knuckle, there's absolutely nothing there. That brush is clean. If you can do a gentle pull and twist to get the bristles back into a pointy shape, and we can leave that, that's done. So we're going to go in now with the, what's this one? It's one of the newer colours, as is the tire black. These are the newer colours in the ranges. This one's a more realistic dark green for RAF colours. And I've actually used this on a couple of builds that I did recently for, I think it's the RAF Mustang and the Spitfire. Don't ask me which version of the Spitfire it is though. Oh dear. See?
Oh dear. See?
That's how clumsy I am. Oh dear, 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 dear. Yeah, I knew. I wouldn't get away with this for too long. Look at that. Brilliant. Luckily, I've got a load of that paint, because I tend to use that for priming anyway. Oh my. Which is why I've got copious quantities of this stuff. A friend of mine works for a company that has lots and lots and lots and lots of these rolls to hand. Oh, I resign. Anyway, I love this colour. It's got to be time for a holiday by now, it must be. Go on, admit it. How many of you sat there and went, "Hey"? I don't know. So we'll go in very, very carefully, painting the side of the lines. It would help if my camera could focus on this rather than the background. There we go. That's how my eyes work in real life. It's quite bizarre. Let's give you a better background. Right, stay there. Because we've already got the base coat of grey, the green should cover quite easily over the top. Not too many problems. So, yeah, I'll try and do this now without spilling everything. There we go. Right then. One other point to make as well is, do try and avoid the temptation of doing that with your brushes and leaving them in the pot, because what will happen, it'll give you a brush, a modelling version or the painting version of Bedhead, and you'll end up with a brush that stays like that for the rest of its life. And it's really difficult to recorrect that. I learnt that the hard way quite a few times. I've got away in real life, got interrupted as it does. I'll have to brush in there like that, come back 3 hours later and the brush is ruined. Wasn't happy. Right then, I'm going to slightly change my pan a little bit. I'm going to use this first for the flash, just to give a pre-shading, if you like, for the face. So pulling it back there again so I can see what I'm doing. Which means you're sitting on my knee again. That's a bit creepy. Quite lighty. So again, try not to dislocate your elbow. Break your wrist. Move the piece to suit you. Now, as I'm painting this fella, I've literally just seen in the last 10 minutes or so, before actually coming in to do this, the brand new trailer 2 for the new Star Wars film, and I literally cried like a baby and cheered like a 6-year-old, and oh my word, it was epic, it really was. I so cannot wait for that film to come out. So there we go. A base coat of brown, which will also take care of the chin strap. I'll fill the chin strap in there like that. I think I got him on that side. Yep, got him on that side. So that now gives us an area to work with on the chin strap itself. So another quick change. And using a fine brush, take some grey, give the flash a shake. Still a bit runny. Right then, that is a good stir as well by the look of it. Yep. So, end of no brush. And I give you a stir. Just to get rid of all that gunk at the bottom. Shake. There we go, that's better. Right then, let's redo that grey. I'm going to wipe most of that back off the brush so we're not going to contaminate the flash. So you can see there it's virtually gone. in with the flash, good dollop there, and then come into the grey, pull and twist to get a point. Now then, we've already got highlights there, if you can see. So all we're going to do is use the lighting we've got now with a very, very shaky hand to come over the top. While that dry quickly. It's for this reason I don't normally use Tamiya acrylics. So it looks really obvious, but as you move away, it should blend in. It will look better when it's dried. So, close the flash down for a moment. Come back in with that grey. Oops, almost. Stuff it, there we go. Change the flavour. There we go. I think I've got the dark there, it's dead obvious straight away. It's coming underneath. That new shade as well, I'm going to dub onto his hand to make it look like he's wearing the gloves. Like so. Just to change it a little bit. And then put these back on so I don't spill them again, so they don't dry out or anything like that. Get the flash. I'm not changing the brush or anything like that. So we've got a darker tone of flash, and we're literally just going to run it over. In brown, like so. And then leave that to dry before I go back over. But before I leave it to dry, I'm going to do that strapping. So, quick change on the brush. In with the green. Way too much paint on there. Pull and twist. I don't know if you can make that out. I'm actually bracing my fingers together so that we can actually steady my hand so it's not shaking all over the place. See that crossband there. Like so. And it looks a lot better already. So, just going to dab some green on there as well, because I didn't even spot that arm patch before. Just dab some green there. One on that side. Like so. Now if I wanted to be really finicky, I could do a wash on that just to blend everything together, but I'm not going to. Because that's, you know, in this kind of scale you don't really need to. It's like, say, you're going to be viewing it from a distance. You're going to be viewing it from that tiny little porthole. Porthole, yes, porthole. So we don't really need to do anything like that, because you're not really going to see him anyway. I'll more than likely cover that with another build at some point, because I want to get back into doing the armour and the bigger figures that I do. Bigger figures that I normally build. I almost forgot. Final touch with the flash. Going really close. So we've got the brown base coat. Focus. Come on. Brown base coat. We've got a medium tone. And I'm going to pick out the rest of the face. Like so. That's a really quick and simple painting figure using 5 colours. It's easy, it really is easy. It's only harder when you get to the bigger scales, when you really do have to start thinking about washes and stuff like that. But for a 48 scale, not a problem. So, I've just decided, just because I've spotted him now on the shelf. Oh, very long time ago, I built an F-18 in 32 scale, which had a Navy crewman in 32 scale with the kit. And as you can see there, just from the base coat alone, there are lots of highlights, lots of shadows. So I will do a tutorial with this guy, a full tutorial, at some point. I've got a 35 to hand. Standing up. So let's move that out of the way. That's a 16 scale, that's 35, no that's 32, that's 35. If I can get the camera down low enough. This fella is redue for a repainting. I was never happy with him to start with because he looks like a zombie. So I was never happy with him to start with. So he is due for repainting. That'll happen in another video. And if you look at this fella, that's not actually black. That's a really dark grey that I've used for him. So that when I have used black, it stands out in the shadows. And then if you look at the hat, there's 3 different shades of green. As you move away, it should all merge into one. So it's just tricking the eye, that's all it is. So I'll do a full tutorial with this fella to teach you that technique properly.